Shores fam, welcome to my YouTube show. This episode is all about how to spot a fake social media influencer. I am taking 10 minutes of my week. Hold on, let me just adjust this so that you YouTubers can watch me. And in less than 10 minutes, I really want to help you figure out how you can really spot a fake influencer, because lately I'm getting so many DMs in my meetings, also with my clients. This is a ever-going conversation that's out there in the industry. So let me just give you some quick, fast tips on how to spot a fake influencer. Listen, there's not really a science to this, because let's all just use our very common sense, okay? So what I'm gonna give you here, a lot of it, I really believe it's a lot of common sense and us taking the time to do the work, but there's a few little hidden tricks that I think will really help you. Okay, so the first thing when I am doing influencer marketing, and I've been doing this for so long now, the first thing that I really look at is at the human, the person, and I really try to understand the reputation. So I really try to speak to other people in the industry about this person. What's the reputation? What are people saying about this influencer? Is it good things? Is it bad things? What other projects or campaigns do they work with them? What are those reviews about that person? Your reputation is your equity. So if a good influencer, even though they're just starting out, whatever stage they are, a good influencer should have good testimonials, a good reputation, a good track of work, a good body of work with their work that they have been doing. So that for me is the first thing that I really look at. And if you think about it, a lot of these things are just like human relationships, because a lot of these things, the principles are very similar. So understanding what is that influencer's reputation, okay? What are people saying about them? Is it good? Is it bad? Really ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask, because you will be spending time and money with this influencer. So go do your homework, okay? That's definitely the first thing that I do when I'm looking at these influencers. Now, the second thing I really recommend you to do is to meet them, get on a phone call or an online call. Sometimes you might be working with influencers who are not currently in your city. So have that face-to-face meeting or phone call or online chat, so you can really understand and get a good vibe and get a good energy. Prepare some questions, ask to see previous work. So it's almost a little bit like an interview, but you don't want to call it an interview, you want to call it a chat. Now you're probably thinking, Alex, but how do I get this person on the phone, or how do I have this? Just like you would with any person that you want to start a relationship with. Send them a DM, send them an email. Always contact the influencer in the platforms that you see that they are very active. So maybe they're super active on Twitter. That's you want to go and send them a tweet or send them a DM on Twitter and say, hey, I would love to talk with you. I have some ideas on how maybe we could collab, but I would love to learn more about you and what you do. When you are talking to the influencer, you will already feel a vibe if this person knows what they're talking about, if they are authentic. Remember, you are looking for authenticity. You are looking for people that have really nourished a community of impact, that when they say, this pencil is really good, other people might probably go buy the pencil and use the pencil. Okay, just bad example. Anyway, so after you probably have this phone call and have this meeting, by now you should already be getting a good feel of what you think about this influencer. But there's other things that I really want you to do when you are looking, for example, on their Instagram account, right? It's really important that you take the time to really study their feed and their content, okay? Now, here's some tricks that I know you all love. One of the first things that you want to see that can pop up right away is the ratio. The ratio between how many followers that I have, or the influencer has, versus how many people they're following. So sometimes it's really stupid obvious. Sometimes there's influencers that will have like a really high number of followers, and then they're following like 5 people. That doesn't really add up. Although I will say sometimes those very, very famous high-end influencers, they will like not hardly follow anybody, but again, those are like the very high-end tier. If we are looking at the medium level of influencers, which is really what I want you guys to look at for that long tail influencer marketing approach, because you want the influencers to stay with you for a long time, because if me and you have a relationship, we want to stick around for longer. So if the ratio between followers and following is weird, then there's something odd there, right? So that's already a giveaway for you to see how come she has like 74,000 followers and then she's only following like 500 people. Also, do take the time to go and look at who is it that these people are following. Okay, so that's a really good giveaway. Now, another really giveaway is the track history of this influencer, right? So sometimes you can see, because it's so obvious, if you go back into their history of their content, really take a look at how long has this influencer been putting out content and how frequent. What has their journey been? Does it look real? Does it look authentic? Does it look like this person is going through a journey of how they've started out their content? Because what happens many times is this influencer overnight is going to buy all these followers, and then there's like a really weird spike in terms of their numbers change. So definitely take a look at that. Do the homework and take a look at if there was like hardly no posts and then suddenly there's lots of posts. So use the archive feature here at the top on your Instagram to really understand, okay, what has been the journey of this influencer? Now, another thing is when these influencers are using softwares, you can pretty much buy likes, you can pretty much buy comments. Also, because sometimes a lot of influencers belong to these micro groups that these are these groups where there is a bunch of people there that as soon as you post a post, they go and they leave comments. I am really not a fan of these groups because I really generally don't think that's how you're going to create content that matters, right? I don't think that's the best use of your time, because if your content is going to be really good and it's going to be really of value, you shouldn't be spending the time in these groups telling them to go and like that content. You should be spending that time on trying to really figure out your content and engaging with your community. So I want you to take a look at the number of followers that this influencer has, and then I really want you to look back as much as 20 to 30 posts, and I want you to look at the ratio of the followers and the ratio of the engagement that they have on that post, on those posts, okay? Because if you were having such a huge followership, you really need to see some pretty cool, good engagement, and the comments need to be there. And let's talk a little bit about comments, okay? Because you might be thinking, Alex, how can I spot a difference between comments that are coming from an automated bot, comments that are coming from these so-called groups, and real authentic comments? Well, common sense, guys. Automated comments, they're always pretty much the same. They don't have any, they will not say anything specific in context to that post. So they won't be like, wow, that's such a cool picture in a coffee shop, or that tip about e-commerce was really good. Those comments, those bot comments are super general, and they have repetition. So you will see in maybe 20 posts that same type of comment with the same type of emojis, and I have that all the time. I see that all the time on my content, and I just go there and I say, stop sending me automated messages. Now, you might see repeat people leaving comments. Now that can be a good thing, right? I have that. I have so much of the same followers leaving me lots of comments. But if you do the homework actually on my account, you will see that there's a lot of familiar faces that are leaving comments, but the comments are genuine. They are authentic. It means that they are actually talking about in specifics and in details of the things that's saying on that content piece. So guys, use your common sense. The comments needs to be specific and real and genuine with emotion and passion and details. If you see repeated faces and the comments are so the same, for sure, you know, these probably are coming from bots, so they're probably coming from those groups that are just, you know, to generate these comments. So to be really honest, these are really like the best tips on how you can really spot a fake influencer, and spending the time going through what the community is saying, and not just on Instagram. You could go and look on other channels. So is this influencer having an effort to put out content on other channels? Have they done events? Is there any reviews? So take a look at the whole digital footprint, not just stay stuck on that Instagram, okay? Listen, there's lots of articles out there that are gonna talk to you about extreme specifics of tools and apps that you can use. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have any recommendation for apps for you to use, because I really believe that a lot of this is common sense and you taking the time to do your homework. It's just the same concept when we are picking our friends that we want to surround ourselves with, or when we are picking a company that we want to work. We need to be doing this homework. So I really believe that if you follow all of these rules that all of these tips that I have shared with you here, you will be in a good place to make a decision. Do I want to work with this influencer? Do I see myself working more than just one campaign with this influencer? Take the time to study the person. Take the time to really understand their story, to really understand their content. How long have they been doing it? Look, some influencers work for years. Some influencers got lucky and something went viral. So it's okay, either or can happen. What you really want to understand is what's the impact in their community. Do they have a Facebook group, for example? Join the Facebook group and see what happens there. Really try to establish that relationship with that influencer before you sign anything, before you pay anything. And just to wrap up, I really suggest that everything that you agree with the influencer is written on a guideline contract, that you also then put a contract in place that you sign and that the influencer signs. I want you guys to be thinking about impact. When you are working with these influencers, think about how does your product or your service fit with their story and their brand. You will have your brand and company principles. The question you need to ask is, does this influencer match some of my brand and company principles? Yes. And does it even add even more further value? This is the gold tip for when you are looking for that matchmaking with influencer marketing. That influencer needs to tick at least 3 to 4 of your brand principles, and then add an extra added value layer on top of it. So that's the starting point. I hope these tips really helped you. I hope now you're all geared up to spot those fake influencers out there. Remember, do the homework. If you do the homework well, you should be in a better position. So stop complaining that there are fake influencers out there. There's a lot of fake shit out there. Do your homework, do it well, put yourself in a place that you can succeed better, and that way you will avoid being scammed. I hope you loved this episode. If you did, drop comments below, comments, that red button, hit subscribe, and have an awesome week, guys.